she heard my message. That's cool. Damn it, this is boring. I ain't got shit to do. There's nothing to do outside. School's starting back up again. My plush videos ain't making enough money. Man, everything's just shit right now. I'm gonna just play something random on the PlayStation. Damn. What is even on here? Need for Speed. Fucking Minecraft. I already completed this. This sucks. This is boring. I'm getting sick of this shit. Yo, Raun. You good, bro? I'm gonna play on fucking PlayStation. That's what's wrong. Why don't you just play some WWE? I don't wanna play that shit. Oh, you could make a plush video? Think about it. Yo, that's fun, right? Yo, you know how old that's getting now? Yo, it's not even making any money. The plush videos are becoming stale. Yo, why don't you just review the game? You have a whole library over here. You know what? I had never thought of that. What do you think I should review? Try and review something that's interesting to you. Like, you play a lot of wrestling games, you play a lot of interesting games. Why don't you review those games and show them to the public and show them how good they are? You know what? Actually, you got a point. I think I might do that. I'm gonna review a game that's something that's special to me. You know what? Thank you, imaginary me. You're welcome. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go piss in your sink. Piss in my sink? What? Yeah. You know what? I think it's time. Well, everyone, I guess it's time I review a new game that I like to show to the public. Fire Pro Wrestling World. By Spike Chunsoft. Afternoon from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm Raun the Dawn, and today we're finally going to be taking a look at Fire Pro Wrestling World. That's supposed to be Will Ospreay, that's supposed to be Rhino, that's probably supposed to be Jimmy or Jay Uso, and this guy, I have no clue who that is. So let's just talk about this game and get it over with. Only you to subscribe might work early, so do it. As a man who loves wrestling, this has to be probably the best wrestling simulator ever to be made. In my opinion, the menu looks pretty good, but we're getting off topic here. Before we talk about this game, let's get into a brief history lesson of what Fire Pro Wrestling really is. In 1986, or if I'm correct, Fire Pro Wrestling Tag Combination would come out. This would be the first installment, and this is what it would look like. Oh, it came out in 1989. I knew I was wrong. Well, this is what it looks like. Also, this footage isn't mine. This is from another YouTuber named as Wrestle Things. So I'd recommend you give him the credit for it. Now, completely, obviously, I'm not going to sugarcoat the graphics as, well, it was 1989 and this was on the PC engine. So there's no surprise that it wouldn't look the best. Although this was kind of revolutionary as, well, as you see, he's stabbing a guy. So this would be added. And there's blood in this. Have you ever seen blood at an 80s wrestling game? I bet you haven't. Unfortunately, the US wouldn't experience this fun until 2001, which was 12 years after this game released. In 2001, the US would get the release of Fire Pro Wrestling for the Game Boy Advance. Now, let's see what this would look like. What the fuck is that? Is that static? Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, this is Fire Pro Wrestling for the Game Boy Advance. And then you have your run-of-the-mill menu. Well, that's how you can get the best out of Fire Pro. Let's see what the gameplay looks like. Now, this was a bit of a major update considering that, well, it was on the Game Boy Advance. But, let's be honest, most Game Boy Advance wrestling games weren't the best. The US would have to unfortunately wait 4 more years until they would get the game. But by God, Spike Chunsoft delivered, and it was probably the greatest wrestling game on earth. fucking classic. Now, after a few minutes of finding some footage, I finally found it from some guy named 10-Minute Gameplay. Give him some credit. Now, for this, these graphics look much better, don't they? Like, look at this. The moves are pretty cool. Well, it's not showing much. Now, I think it's time to talk about Fire Pro Wrestling World, which is my favorite game in the series, and now I really do need to get onto it because this video is going to last too long. Let's get back on Fire Pro Wrestling because it's been a quick minute since I've even talked about it. In my opinion, I can say this is a good game. Now, as you know, the Fire Pro series has been known to be good, but there is a slight few flaws. The first flaw is there's not that much changes. Yeah, there's a story mode including the NJPW roster from probably 2017. You got Chaos, you got the Bullet Club, Ibushi Tech, pretty much the tag teams, the factions, all of them. But the only problem is this game is kind of more of a souped up version of Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. Think about the Street Fighter series, for example. You got Street Fighter 2, Champion Edition, Hyper Fighting, Super Street Fighter 2, the new Challengers, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Hyper Fighting... Okay, I'm reading that wrong. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Revival, Hyper Street Fighter 2, the Anniversary Edition, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, and then Ultra Street Fighter 2. How many Street Fighter 2s do we need? Only Street Fighter 3rd Strike didn't even have this much. It only had 3 installs. Getting off track here. Short story short, Fighting Road is pretty much the story mode. Junior Heavyweight is the DLC, while Heavyweight is not. The Heavyweight route is pretty much where you take a character and meet a bunch of factions, and there's 3 routes, so it takes a while to complete the story 100%. Then, pretty much, you have Craft Mode, which is pretty much another DLC thing. Then, you have Edit Mode, where you can make your rings, your arenas, your teams, your belts. I even made a couple belts myself. I only made 2, though. I have the Raun the Dawn Championship, which may be planned for a series if y'all want that. Then after that, I have my Extreme title, which is pretty much just a title for a barbed wire deathmatch. You see how creative the game can get? Although there isn't too much detail in the titles, you can't come out with them. Then you have online play, which is needed for online. I don't have that. Then there's exhibition mode, where you can make your own little matches. I usually make my own stories when doing exhibition mode, so it's pretty fun to do. Do it with a friend. It could be fun. Let's talk about the gameplay style. The gameplay style plays as a regular wrestling game, but it's not too long. In the game, pretty much there's punches, kicks, grapples, all that stuff. But pretty much it's much different. When your character is punching, you can block it. You could probably have to time it right. It's timed, pretty much. It's made by the Japanese, so I mean, they're very difficult with their stuff, but it's pretty cool. I find it cool. Pretty much, the grappling system is much more different. Once your foot stomps on that mat, you have to time your grappling. It depends on the computer level, though. So, you have to do your best just to play right. Then after that, pretty much, there's a couple moves you can do. Corner moves, top rope moves, but top rope moves and grapples like suplexes off of top rope is much harder. As you see, when I tried to hit him, I missed immediately. The AI is very smart, so you can't just go running off like in a wrestling game like WWE and try to attack him with ease. You have to actually time it and also wait until your opponent is down enough. So to the point where he's very knocked out and very close to the mat, you can be able to hit him with a swanton or something like that. But it gets difficult, but trust me, it's very easy to learn once you get the chance of it. Now, let's get into the holy grail of wrestling games. And this has to be a personal favorite of mine that most games don't add, which also kind of pisses me off. Custom music, the holy grail of all wrestling games that needs to be added more. Now, I can kind of understand why they don't add it. Maybe because of licensing issues, or maybe because they just don't want to get copyrighted because someone recorded their music. But to be completely honest, this should be added more. Pretty much, this works like this. Get your computer, your phone, anything that can store music, and pretty much make a folder called music. Then put a folder inside that folder called FPW. Then you can add all your own music. I added the soundtrack from Kurihyu, or Yakuza Black Panther as everybody calls it. And pretty much that's a good game too, which I could review. But let's stay on topic here. I just added music that I like, and you can too. Pretty much what I did was just get a character and pretty much name the character, and then after that add the music. Oh yeah, I do need to get into that. The creative character suite is pretty much very, very kind of complex, but it's unlimited with all these creations. Pretty much, I made this character named Eric Furious. He was pretty much my 2K23 main character that I pretty much made. I pretty much had him have the song Phenomenal by Eminem, which also I thought would work. Now, Bender is on here, but that was from a past save, so we're going to remove that. Then we're just going to go down here. Then you'll see a bunch of songs, the entire Black Panther playlist. Then after that, you'll see Phenomenal right there. But I may warn you, the song kind of glitches when it starts up, so I wouldn't expect it to be all golden. Then you could overwrite save data, or you could even save it and make a new character out of that one. The possibilities are endless in this game. Now, let's get to the final and last thing. Final verdict, my favorite match types. One last fun thing is this. Boom. A whole explosion happens, an exploding barbed wire deathmatch. Now, another favorite match of mine is the gruesome match, which is inspired by UFC, but unfortunately I couldn't get the clip, so we're gonna have to stick with this for a little while. That's pretty much all I have to say about this game, pretty much. This game kind of saved my life with, well, not really actually saving my life, but I got bored of 2K24, so I ended up playing this a lot, and this has to be probably the most fun game I've ever played. So, I'm going to go off of 5 Thin Mints, which are my favorite snacks. If I'm going to continue this series, I have to come up with something original. So, 5 Thin Mint cookies. I guess that's it for today. Considering that I've done my first review, hopefully I will continue the series on, but for future references, guys, I'm going to stop making plush videos altogether. I've kind of grown tired of it a little bit, and I hope you guys can understand. But if y'all like this Raun reviews thing, I can keep going. I could probably do some retrospectives about my favorite series and probably enlighten y'all to try. Give this a shot. This might be a game and some good wrestling. And you know what? Next Raun review, we're going to review something else.